What's up, guys? It's Will from LABYRINTH, bringing you a new hypothetical support video. This is the first of the channel, and I honestly plan on making possibly more of these based off the response of our viewers. So I've been wanting to make some hypothetical Jinzo support on top of this too, but it did take a while to make this and like come up with cards and then make them and stuff like that. So if this is something that you guys would like me to continue, I'd be more than happy to. Otherwise, I probably won't. But this one is for Gate Guardian. So if you're like me and you really love the legacy monsters and stuff like that, you probably like Gate Guardian as a monster and stuff like that. But it kind of baffles me that despite everything that's gotten support, all the legacy support that we've gotten in the past like year and a half, like Blue Eyes, Dark Magician, Celtic Guardian even got a new card. Guy of the Fierce Knight, Blackluster Soldier, Buster Blader, things like that, ABC, that we've never once gotten support for Gate Guardian. And it kind of baffles me because that this card is one of the first cards ever made when it comes to the series. And in the series, they made it sound like, oh my god, you know, Gate Guardian, the Trinity, like one of the best monsters in the game, like feared, put up with Exodia, like up there with Exodia. Yet the cards of the actual game are really, really difficult to summon because no support's been come out. And then Gate Guardian itself really doesn't do anything. It's just a statue with no effect. And so, I mean, like I said, if you read Kazijin, Suijin, Song of the Thunder, they all have like a nice Wabaku effect, but it even says this effect can only be used once as long as this card remains face up on the field. Like once per duel? Like, that's pretty stupid. And then on top of that, Gate Guardian, like I said, you have to tribute both Sangha, Suijin, and Kazijin to summon this guy. So it's like a neg 3, or neg 1, I guess, because you get neg 2, because you get to summon him, but he has no effect. So if your opponent has Bottomless, they could even like Geki break him or something like that, and he's gone. So basically, I wanted to make some new retrained Gate Guardian support, because like I said, if you're like me, Gate Guardian was like one of the coolest monsters growing up, and in all the talk that they gave about him makes it sound like he should be a good monster, so he should deserve some good support. So we're going to start off with the retrained version of Song of the Thunder, and it's called the Trinity God of Thunder. It's a level 7 light thunder type monster, just like Sangha, and as you'll notice, it also has the same stats as Sangha: 2600 attack, 2200 defense. And its effect states, you can special summon this card from your hand or graveyard by banishing one Song of the Thunder from your hand, field, or graveyard. This card's name becomes Song of the Thunder while face up on the field. Once per turn, you can target one card your opponent controls, banish it face down. If this card is destroyed by battle or by an opponent part effect and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon one Song of the Thunder from your deck. You can only use each effect of the Trinity, God of Thunder, once per turn. So basically, I wanted to make Sangha kind of like the powerhouse of the three monsters. So basically what it's going to do is it enables you to banish a card once it's summoned. And the fact that you can basically special summon it from your hand or from the graveyard is very, very convenient, to where I still wanted the old Sangha, Suijin, and Kazijin cards to be involved in the deck. I didn't want to just completely make it to where they're not involved at all. But at the same time, I also wanted to make it easy to summon. So you don't have to get too many shenanigans. You can get Sangha. If you can get Sangha in your hand or in the graveyard, you can special summon this guy pretty easily. And on top of that, he floats into another Sangha, to where on your next turn, if they don't out the Sangha, because Sangha does have a way of protecting itself, you get to bring him back by banishing the Sangha that you special summon off him from the graveyard, or banishing from the field and bring him back from the graveyard, to where you can banish another monster. So kind of cool stuff, kind of cool support, and that's basically my retrained version of Sangha. So now we get into the retrained version of Kazijin, and it's called the Trinity God of Wind. And his effect, and notice that he's once again a level 7, wind, and the same stats as Suijin. And so you can special summon this card from your hand or graveyard by banishing one Kazijin from your hand, field, or graveyard. This card's name becomes Kazijin while face up on the field. Once per turn, you can target one monster your opponent controls, return it to the hand. If this card is destroyed by battle or by an opponent's card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon one Kazijin from your deck. You can only use each effect of the Trinity, God of Wind, once per turn. So once again, I wanted to basically, because you know, God of Wind, you basically think of Compulse or something like that. So I wanted to give him a nice little neat Compulse effect where he's able to basically bounce a monster or something like that. So once again, he's very similar to the Trinity monsters in that you can special summon him easily by banishing Kazijin from your hand or graveyard. He also has the same floating effect, and once again, he also has his own once per turn effect of bouncing a monster. So finally, we get into the retrained version of Suijin, which is the Trinity God of Water. And basically, his effect states you can special summon this card from your hand or graveyard by banishing one Suijin from your hand, field, or graveyard. This card's name becomes Suijin while face up on the field. Once per turn, when opponent's monster declares an attack, you can negate that attack, then shuffle that monster back into the deck. If this card is destroyed by battle by opponent's card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon one Suijin from your deck. You can only use each effect of the Trinity God of Water once per turn. So like I said, once again, level 7, Water, same stats and attribute and type as Suijin, 2500, 2400 defense. And what Suijin in the show, he always was like flushing people out and stuff like that and protecting from attacks. So I wanted him to be the one in which you have protection. In other words, you have protection from an attack. And on top of that, like Kazijin bounces a monster, I wanted him to spin a monster. I wanted him to be able to shuffle that monster back in the deck. And the great thing about his effect, as opposed to the other ones, is that it doesn't target. So when your opponent declares an attack, you can basically special summon even like a Chaos Max or something back into their deck. Now, one thing I do want to stress about all these monsters, I want you to notice that their names become Suijin, Sangha, and Kazijin while on the field. That'll enable you not only to summon Gate Guardian if you so choose to run it, but it also will enable you to summon the Xyz monster, which we're about to get to towards the end, but there are plenty of more cards to get to. So, like I said, all of the Trinity monsters can be special summoned as long as you get your normal, like the Sangha, Suijin, and Kazijin in the graveyard and stuff like that. So how can you add consistency? How can you get the Trinity monsters and others like stuff like that into the hand? So now we have Paradox, Summon of the Gods. So basically, this is basically like a retrained version, like combination of Para and Dox. It's just like his own thing. He's a level 4 dark spellcaster type monster, 1800 attack, 700 defense. It says if this card is normal or special summoned, you can send one Kazijin, Suijin, or Song of the Thunder from your deck to the graveyard. Add one the Trinity monster from your deck to your hand. You can only use this effect of Paradox Summoner of the Gods once per turn. So this guy is basically an automatic getting one of the Trinity monsters on the field because he sends Kazijin, Suijin, or Sangha from the deck to the graveyard as cost in order to add one of the other monsters to the hand. So automatically, if you can get this guy on the field through like a summoner monk or just by normal summoning him or something like that, you can automatically summon Sangha, Suijin, or Kazijin retrained counterparts, the Trinity monsters, to your field. So that's one way I've added speed to the deck and stuff like that. And he is one of the main elements of the deck, and he's kind of basically like a combination of Para and Dox from the show. So how do we add consistency in getting to Paradox? Well, we have a field spell called Paradox Labyrinth, but it's kind of similar to Magical Meltdown. It states, when this card is activated, you can add one Paradox Summoner of the Gods from your deck to your hand. It also enables all Suijin, Song of the Thunder, and Kazijin on the field to gain 500 attack and defense. Now, this will not only enable those monsters gain attacks, but like I said, the Trinity monsters that we made, which are basically the new counterparts of the old monsters, their names become that while on the field, so they will also gain 500 attack and defense. And then it says, if a Trinity monster you control destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can add one the Trinity monster from your deck to your hand. So basically, it enables you to not only search out Paradox to get you automatically the Trinity monster on the field, but if your Trinity monster destroys an opponent's monster by battle, since it is going to be beefed up by the field spell, you get to add another Trinity monster from the deck to the hand. So it enables you to search out those Trinity monsters to get them summoned easier. So, alright, so now we get into a pretty broken card, so that's why I had to make it a trap card, otherwise it would be too good. So it's called Burial of the Trinity, and it basically says you can send one Suijin, Kazijin, and Song of the Thunder from your deck to the graveyard, add one the Trinity monster from your deck to your hand. You can only activate one Burial of the Trinity per turn. So this card is kind of broken because it, one, adds your Trinity monster from your deck to your hand, and it lets you Foolish Burial Suijin, Kazijin, and Song of the Thunder automatically. So I couldn't make that a spell, I couldn't make that a monster effect. I had to make it a trap to make it a little bit slower. But on top of that, I still made it a cost. So even if this gets negated, you get to send Suijin, Kazijin, and Song of the Thunder to your deck from your deck to your graveyard. And if you already happen to have the Trinity monsters in your hand, you can inherent summon them basically using their effect to where your opponent really can't negate it and stuff like that. But yeah, this card is pretty good. Lets you Foolish 3 and add 1. And it basically is like it loads up your graveyard with Suijin, Kazijin, and Sangha to where you can special summon your monsters, which is pretty good. Alright. Or Soul Charge them back. So now we get into the big Xyz monster, which is basically the new boss monster and new retrained counterpart of Gate Guardian, and its basically name is the Trinity Gate Guardian. So he's a rank 7 monster, but he requires 3 level 7 monsters, and their names must be Song of the Thunder, Suijin, and Kazijin. So basically, you can Xyz summon this guy using the old Song of the Thunder, Suijin, Kazijin, or the Trinity monsters, because their names will count as Suijin, Kazijin, and Song of the Thunder on the field. So basically, his effect states this card, now notice he has the same stats as Gate Guardian, 3750, 3400. And notice that he also has 3 different effects that are during other player's turn, because you have to make him good. He's Gate Guardian, and he's got some other parts put in. So basically it says this card gains effects based on if the following season materials are attached to it. So Sangha, once per turn, during either player's turn, you can discard 1 card, banish 1 card your opponent controls face down. So then notice that this one does not target, has the same similar effect to the Trinity Sangha, but it does require a cost of discarding a card, because I thought if I was going to make it during other player's turn, I had to make it a cost involved with it. It would be too overpowered if I just made it, normal. And then we also have Suijin. Once per turn, when an opponent's monster declares an attack, you can negate the attack, then shuffle that monster back into the deck. Once again, the same kind of Suijin effect. And then 3, Kazijin. Once per turn, during either player's turn, you can banish 2 cards from your graveyard. Oops, I made a typo. That's not supposed to say return. It's supposed to say return 1 card your opponent controls, or one card your opponent controls back to the hand. So it's got that same Kazijin bounce effect, except it does require a cost because it's during other player's turn. And on top of that, it's pretty good. It doesn't target as well. And so finally, it says if this card would be targeted or destroyed, you can detach 1 Xyz material instead. So Gate Guardian, he was able to prevent destruction in the show just by breaking off a piece of the body or something like that. And so I wanted to add that element to this Xyz monster. So if it were to be targeted, like the Book of Moon to flip it face down, or Alternative Dragon to destroy it or something like that, you can basically just detach a material instead to where it doesn't happen or something like that. So that's pretty much the new monsters, guys. Let me know what you think. If Konami should consider bringing this support to light and stuff like that. If it's too overpowered, if it'll have consistency issues, and what cards could you combine it with today's cards to make it even better? Let me know what you think in the comments. Leave a like, and then let me know if you think of this series, because if you guys do like it, then I will release a Jinzo hypothetical support, because I do have some ideas for that as well. But let me know what you guys think, and see you guys next time, and yeah, have a good day.